Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the StarCraft universe. This is Malikicowtipper going to bring you another game of StarCraft 2, and today my opponent is Astro. And one thing you might be asking me, Malachi, will you ever learn to get your audio correctly? And guess what? I have. So we're going to go into today's match, and it is on Ohana LE. I think I actually am putting two Ohana LE games up right in a row, and you know, I think they both might be against Terrans. And you know what? I just love beating Terrans. There's just something very satisfying about going up against a Terran and beating them. And I know that a lot of people will say that, oh my god, yeah, Zerg is so OP against Terran right now. Maybe it is. But here's the deal, Terran is by far my worst matchup, and even if I win at these Terran games, I still feel like it's almost by luck that I win, or like my Terran opponent really sucked. I feel like I never really play a good Terran, and maybe that just says something about Terran as a whole. You guys just kind of suck. Nah, I'm kidding, Terran. You know I love you, and that's not the tab that you wanted to see. So I am spawning in the lower position as the blue Zerg, and Astro's the red Terran in the upper position. And if we take a look at what's going on here, I have a scouting drone. Scouting drones are very cool, and I usually like to send them out early against Terran. Actually, early against every race. I really like to get my scout on and get that information. It just makes me feel better when I know what's happening in the game. And this is very interesting right here, that Astro is actually pulled that SCV back just to send another SCV out to build this. And actually, this is his scouting SCV, so his barracks is just extremely delayed right now at this point in the game. I really don't quite understand. And now we have another SCV coming out to build this barracks right here, and another one coming out, so I just feel like there's so much SCV time, so much time that is spent traveling around for those SCVs, and right there, he's not even pursuing the attack, and my worker is kind of like, well, fuck you, I'm going to try to attack, and I'm going to force him to pull it off again. That's just crazy. And over here at my base, I'm just chilling. I decided to go spawning pool first, and normally I don't like to do that. I would have normally had my expand up by this point, but because I saw that SCV go out, and because this barracks was extremely delayed by my count, I was almost positive that there was going to be some type of proxy racks or shenanigans going down outside of the base, and I figure I don't want to send out another worker to try to scout it because it could take forever to find it, and I'm going to move my Overlord back over here to kind of watch this SCV, and he did scout up here. He did see my spawning pool, so he's actually starting this NGB at just about the right time, right when I would actually want to go ahead and expand, and I'm going to try to pick away at this guy, but he's going to do the right thing. He's going to pull back and just leave a building with 500 health that I kind of have to work through. So seeing this, second supply depot, first Marine on the way, pretty standard stuff. I need to not let my Overlord go too far into the base, otherwise it's just going to be a free Overlord kill and I won't get any scouting information for it whatsoever, and that's just not fun. So taking a look at the production tab, I'm getting 4 units worth of Zerglings, and those Zerglings are pretty much just to kill this NG Bay, and I did a little bit of damage. Now, with any luck, I'll actually be able to pick away at this SCV, and that thing will finally die. It looks like, oh, got him. So there's a free SCV kill for me. That one didn't need to die. He was able to kill my scouting drone. All the guts disappearing, and this Marine's like, yeah, I'm cool. I killed the drone. This Marine's like, man, I want to kill drone. And he's going to put a bunker up down here, which usually means that we're going to see, yep, expand right now, 400 minerals. You're wasting minerals. Stop wasting minerals, guy. No, I'm not going to go. I have kind of this weird thing, so, like, have you ever gotten it where people call you Guy, even though you have a name tag or they clearly know your name? I understand it's kind of like an old person thing, but gosh, it just really, really upsets me when people call me Guy. So I'm sending out 4 lings, and I'm going to see what I can see, and realistically, this is going to be about 100 mineral scout. It's about the same as going for an Overlord scout at this point. I just really want to see what's going on with this command center. I want to see if the bunker is not up and see if I can maybe do any damage. And these Marines just going to do a lot of work killing all the lings. And I was able to spot the command center, so I know that that's going up. I know there's a bunker there. And if we check this out, I have double expanded. Double expansions are very cool. And the reason I decided to do this is he delayed my initial expansion so much that I just figured I had no way, if I only went on one base, where I'd actually be able to come out on this game on top, because he had delayed my particular build so much. I'm not going for any type of like 2-base timing play or anything goofy like that. So I do have a Roach Warren going up as well, and these Roaches are going to be specifically to hold off Hellions, because I have a very good feeling that that's exactly what he's going to do. And we can see here my Overlord is going to be going into the center of the map and is going to try to spot that stuff. We have a factory going up, so we're going to have to see if I can do anything to prepare. The biggest thing with taking this third expand that you need to be wary of is if these rocks aren't down and you have your units kind of like chilling here, then they have to go all the way over here and you're going to lose your base. So usually you want to stage out here and you want to have your creep spread up and running ASAP. So I have 2 queens going down, and checking this out, my Roach Warren's almost done. I've stopped collecting gas for the time being, and the reason I did that is I did not have enough minerals, and I really don't need gas at this point. I have enough gas where I can build 4 roaches if I desperately need to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I have the larva from this, and then I'm just going to set them to rally straight over there. But for the time being, until then, I'm just building straight minerals because I know that's what I need at this point in the game. I just need to get my economy up and running because I had to waste those money on the lings. They had to die, and just everything at this point feels delayed. So I'm kind of cutting corners wherever I can, and there's my gas drones. They're so cool. So taking a look at this, my Overlord is going to spot everything. I see double factory, I see the reactor, I see the tech lab. That just gives me a great idea for what's going on here, and he's actually going to pull these Marines out. I should have timed that. That would have been so cool. To run up with some banglings and be like, boom, and then he doesn't have anything. So we can see right here, he's probably going to go for blue flame reactor Hellions. And that can be a fairly powerful push, but I'm going to be completely ready for it. I got an Evo chamber going down, I have a spine crawler, going down here. Now the reason I have that spine crawler going down right here is it's going to be able to start to work on the destructible rocks. Zerglings take forever to kill destructible rocks, and the spine crawler, on the other hand, actually happens to do a pretty decent amount of damage to it. So I think that's pretty neat. Put a few lings on there, and that'll actually go down pretty quick. I have 2 more spine crawlers going down here, so I'm not going to rally any drones to this part of my base for some time. This queen and these spine crawlers, as far as I'm concerned, if he's going to commit me with double reactor blue flame Hellions, they can stay, and he's actually going to send his barracks up over here. I wonder if he's going to try to do like some scouting with it. That's just always so silly to see that barracks. There's got to be like 10 people in there. Like, this is a very important mission, guys. We're going to fly this barracks over the Zerg base. They're going to throw stuff at us, like spines and hooks and other things like that, and it's okay. Just the first like 100 of them are going to bounce off, and then one of them is going to hit that key critical area, and then we might all die. That's awesome. So second gas, but I am supply blocked, was supply blocked, and now I have some drones coming. 11 drones, that's so cool. You know, right now, at this point in the game, I know what's going to be coming at me, and it's a timing attack. So Blue Flame Hellion takes about 110 seconds to work, so as long as you can have some roaches and a few spines out at that part in the game, you should be able to do fairly good. If we check out the income right now, I'm up 43 over 33, and realistically, I'm a little bit down because I've built structures and I've, spent some larva building units going back to the production right now. We can see I'm getting my +1 melee attack, he's getting ground weapons level 1, he's getting siege, and right now he's going to start to churn out the Hellions, so he has 9 Hellions, and these guys can actually be quite dangerous in those numbers if you don't do anything about them. The barracks, I really don't know why this is sitting over here. I wonder if he just kind of forgot about them. These lings actually all going to get roasted, but they're going to let me know exactly what's going down. Here come the Hellions, and it's time to prepare for the attack. So 56 to 35. Checking this out, the second Evo chamber is there. I can very easily make a good wall with queens right here, and these drones, I'm transferring them down, and I need to be so careful here. These spine crawlers going to be enough to entice them away. Is going to add a few drone kills. Oh, that's gross. And roaches, oh no, don't chase them around that way, come around this way. Yeah, good job, buddies. And right here, oh, no, I'm able to let the Hellions get by. I should have put the queen there. That was a big mistake on my part, and this is going to end up costing me a lot of harvesters. So I've lost 4 or 5, I've lost 6 harvesters so far, 7 harvesters, 10 harvesters, not cool, 11, and this attack definitely it was a good move as far as, well, I don't know if I would say it was a good move. Is he going to get another one? Yeah, he's actually brought my harvester count below what his harvester count is and forced a lot of units out of me. So this attack didn't have to be effective like this. A queen on hold position here and a queen on hold position right here would have basically shut that entire attack down. I could have been like, ha, you lose. But the one cool thing that I absolutely love about Terran, I mean, not Terran, Zerg, is I'm going to be able to, just remax and get a lot of drones out in the field. So if we check this out, I've basically already completely rebuilt all of these drones that were over here, so I'm back up to 50 harvesters, which I think is very, very awesome. For units lost, I'm at 1,300 over his, we're just going to call it 1,000 because it's fairly even. Now, the one disadvantage that this leaves him at is he knows that that attack is shut down. He knows that he won't be able to run in there with more Blue Flame Hellions, and realistically, he is actually still behind me on the income tab even after that attack. And all that time spent, that tech spent, on units that you're just not going to use too much more of, and he's actually continuing to build more Hellions, but he is supply capped, which is pretty awesome. And the cool benefit to this is I'm up on 3 bases, and he is still on 2 bases. My creep spread is starting to get a little bit better into, we're at about the 40% way into the map, so hopefully any other shenanigans like that just really won't have to be too much of an issue. I probably could move the spine crawler, but I kind of like it where it is. I'm going to leave these spines here because they'll do a decent job defending against any type of drop play. And if we go back to the production tab. Right now we'll see that I'm actually getting a macro hatch up, which is pretty neat. I have ground attack level 2 and ground armor level 2, and I have a spire on the way. So the spire I'm building in advance of my hive. And the Spire is going to do two things. It's going to allow me to get Broodlords later in the game, but it's also going to give me Mutalisks, which it's something that I haven't used Mutalisks for a very long time against Terran, but I'm starting to deploy them in smaller numbers, more or less just to stop these, you know, kind of shut down the medvacs when the Terran knows that there's Mutalisks that are out there, not necessarily being used terribly offensively, but more defensive, like 5 to 7 defensive mutas that you can kind of have between Overlord spread that can intercept medevacs. You know, it just makes them scared. It doesn't encourage them to do stuff like that, and I like it when Terran are not encouraged to do drop play. So actually, Astro's leading me on supply right now, which I'm not cool with. We go back to the income 63 over 53, check out the APM just for the heck of it. Astro, God, you're lazy, you're not doing anything right now. What are you doing? Come on, man. I'm making you look bad, and I'm not even very good. So... oh, that's the truth of it. So we have Pathogen Glands and we have Roach Speed coming out, and we have the Hive also about halfway done. So this is about the time that I like to get the Hive, at about the 15-minute mark, and you can generally do this pretty well off of 3 base, and what I need to be doing... I wonder if he has this here just kind of like scouting out for that 4th base. I really do need to consider getting my 4th base up and running. If we check it out, he's actually getting ready to make a push, and this is actually kind of scary. There's a lot of tanks, there are a lot of Hellions, and there's a Thor. If we check out the army composition, I have some Banelings, I have some Zerglings, and some Roaches. So the tanks do very good against the Roaches, these guys do very good against the Lings. The Banelings going to do a little bit of work against them if they can, and the one benefit is if this attack takes a little bit too long, nope, my +2 will not be done. Banelings with +2 actually do a lot of damage to light units. I think they can almost 2-shot this. So if we check this out, I'm going to get a 2-pronged attack right here. And that is going to help kind of reduce the number of Hellion Flames going in any given direction. But as we can see right here, just not a lot of those Banelings are going to get through. Their speed is not quite done yet. I am on creep, which gives me a little bit of a movement advantage. These tanks just now getting ready to siege. We can see that he is going for a hard mech play, so his upgrades on his mech units are good. My Roach upgrades are not good, and the reason for this is I very rarely use Roaches against Terran. I really like to go Ling and Fester, but because of builds like Ling and Fester, you're seeing more and more compositions that involve a large number of Hellions. So this is me, you know, kind of wanting to live in an old build day. Well, I won't call it old because it still works quite good, but it's going to have to be a little bit more transitional. I got to be a little bit more open to it. So let's check out the attack and let's see what happens here. Oh, Banelings are able to get in and kill quite a few of those Hellions. Fungal growths going down, and I'm dropping in quite a few infested Terran in the middle of those tanks. I need to pull back these infestors. I cannot afford to have them die. They're too expensive. And the infested Terran actually being the hero of the day. Roaches coming in, and that attack is actually cleaned up, and I am very surprised that I was able to clean up that attack. And I think the main part of that was a lot of those Hellions went down, and the ones that didn't, the fungal growths really helped clean it up. They didn't kill as many Lings as they needed to, and these Roaches actually just kind of being awesome, not dying, and the infested Terran right in the middle of the tanks. I mean, as a Zerg, drop those infested Terran in the middle there, and make those tanks fire on themselves. That's just such an awesome way to do business. So we check this out. He's actually ready for a Thor drop. God, I remember the days of Lost Temple, and, you know, like it was like a 7-minute Thor drop outside your natural, and you could have like 4 spines ready, and the Thor's like, fuck your spine, and just kills it. So we can actually see he has a 4th starport coming up, and I'm not quite sure what he wants to do with that. I mean, you know, he's going hard into mech. He has ground level, weapons level 3 coming up, and he has weapons level 1. I cannot speak right now because I'm so excited, and he must be thinking that I'm going to go Broodlord or something crazy like that. If we check this out, I'm going to send these Lings out because my Overseer over here was actually able to scout this, and this is kind of cool. I have 2 not infested Terran, but 2 Changelings down there, and these Lings actually going to be able to do a little bit of damage, snipe quite a few of the workers, grab a few mules, which is always a good feeling, and those Hellions going to come down, be rather annoying, and I'm actually going to try to run a lot of these Lings away, but that's just one of those moments where it's better to stay and fight than to try to run away. But if anything, this has done a decent job of harassing my opponent. The Changelings are still there, and I'm actually going to be able to get a good idea of his build. And when I see such a mech-heavy build, and I'm going to move those guys in hopefully any second, I realize that, you know what, Roaches are probably the more appropriate unit. At this point, Roaches will do extremely well against the Thors, but we can see that his upgrades are getting very scary right now, which isn't cool. But as long as my infestor count is good, I should be, you know, good to go. And we can see that I'm still getting melee attack because I still have it in my mind that I will go Broodlord and I will just face rape you. but we take a look at the supply right now. I am considerably over him, 194 to 125, and the reason for that is I've been sitting on 2 base considerably longer than he has. We can see that he's almost mined out on his main, and that little bit of extra income that I've had has just allowed me to basically max Roach, is what I essentially did. When I saw that he had this small little mech army, I'm like, I'm going to build 1,000 Roaches, and you're just not going to be able to deal with it. I do have Roach speed, which is pretty neat, and I've got only a handful of Zerglings. I've got a few Infestors, but this is mainly just Roach heavy. Your Hellions not going to do jack against any of that fungal growth going down Infested Terran, and there's just so many Roaches, and even without decent upgrades, why are these guys not sieging? I know you have siege tech, and I guess, you know, we're a joke race. That's kind of neat. So he leaves the game, and that is Astro. So going back and analyzing this game, you know, I guess taking a look at it, sometimes I don't necessarily myself, I can't imagine that I would enjoy the Terran type of gameplay, where it's like, oh, I'll harass him, and I'll harass him, and I'll harass him, and just kind of submiss him into the ground. And as a Zerg, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to expand, and I'm going to expand, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. But, you know, the real reason why I won this game is just a little bit of good scouting, and even for myself, you know, my upgrades were by no means the best. His upgrades were actually quite a bit better than mine, and I was getting ready to tech into my late game, but it's things like, you know, getting the Overseer into the base and getting some Changelings, getting an idea what the army is, getting your creep spread, that way you know what's going on. I mean, even though he denied a large amount of my creep over there, I was able to continue spreading it, taking the expansions. That's the biggest thing on this map, is you can't be afraid to take the expansions, and I like Ohana LE a lot because it forces you to fight in the middle and kind of vie for control. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game. This is Malikicowtipper signing out.